fighting in the style of French savate, you salute the four corners of the fighting arena. They thought there was a neo-fascist or a neo-Nazi aspect to it.
If you think that, you are stupid. My grandparents are also Jewish. The reason for the salute is also bullshit, because I'm Jewish too.
So Gordeau and Thule are on the canvas. Gerard is shirtless with white drawstring pants. He looks totally calm. Thule is wearing a colorful sarong. He gives the crowd the devil horns, and he's ready to go.
We're getting ready. The referee's in the center. And they go.
Thule immediately tries to get up close to Gordeau.
No, I wanted him to come in closer because I had very good boxing.
He charges, and Gordeau ducks him like a matador.
I lost my footing.
Then Gordeau pounces.
I kicked him one time, I gave him one punch, and it was over.
Kathy, what do you think? Let's go. Whoa!
Gordeau's kick was brutal. He knocked out a pair of Thule's teeth, which go flying into the front row. And his punch, it left this big gash above Thule's right eye. The fight was 26 seconds long.
My world flipped upside down from that kick. Well, that was the hardest shit I ever took right there. And then that's why I'm happy that my brothers threw the towel and the ref stopped the fight.
Gordeau was not doing much better.
You look on the video, you can see after the punch, I wiped off my hand to my trousers.
Gerard thought there was something on his hand, but there was nothing on his hand. His hand was broken. And that's not all.
Some of the pieces of his teeth sitting in my feet, and I broke my little bone in my feet.
The audience is totally shocked, including Kathy Kidd.
Blood splattering out, the head flying to the side. And then it was almost like, was that a tooth? You don't want to believe that someone's tooth was actually kicked out of their mouth.
Back in New York, Bob Meyerowitz is watching on TV, and he is horrified.
I thought we would get to see the beauty of karate. We would get to see the beauty of the different art forms. And instead, I see this terribly violent thing going on.
Now, the TV crew is scrambling.
How much time do we have to fill? And they're going, just fill as much as you can. I go, 26-second fight. I can't, make a 1.5 hour feature film of it. It's like we're sad here.
They had to get creative with the 26 seconds of footage they had, so they had to just keep replaying the whole fight.
Bam, that's a right leg roundhouse kick right to the face. That's where the tooth came out. And he still stands.
There were some silver linings. For one thing, the octagon did not collapse. Here's Jason.
At the crew, we decided that we were going to call that the moment of truth as far as the octagon was concerned.
And even though Kathy and Bob are disgusted and the TV crew is running around, Horion and Art, they're fine. It was hyper-violent, but that's the point.
The world didn't know what to expect. That was the thing. And then they see people getting kicked on the face and, oh my God, what is this? There was that shock effect.
That was the shot that was heard around the world.
I'm accustomed to that. I'm seeing that before, and I know what to expect. So I had the impact that I want to have.
Holy shit, this isn't wrestling. This isn't fake wrestling. This is real. Did you see what happened to that guy's teeth?
In the octagon, Horion's nephews are trying to clean blood off the canvas, but there's a thick stain. It has to stay there for the next fight, the debut of Zane Frazier, who was once Stevie Wonder's bodyguard. His opponent is the heavy kickboxer Kevin Rozier.
I don't think Spanx had been invented, but he was wearing like these white bicycle Spanx pants to try to hold back this enormous belly.
By contrast, Zane is cut, and Art says he has that champion look. He's tall and mean. But there's one thing working against Zane. He has asthma. In Denver, of course, it's the Mile High City, a place with very thin air. And by accident, Campbell McLaren made it a lot worse for Zane.
I wanted a lot of drama, like a lot of fucking smoke. So he comes out through this smog, through artificial fog. It looks like, it looked like San Francisco in there, right? It was not an effect. It looked like a layer of fog had come into McNichols Arena. So Zane comes out, he's sucking in artificial smoke. He's got asthma and he's at 5,200 feet. So he hits the octagon and he's like,
Zane gets in the ring, and his wife, Jolie, she's in the corner.
So when you hear that cage close, clink, clink, there was no escape. And I remember my wife saying, holy shit, this is for real.
Most anybody when it's time to fight.
Not when they're that big.
And they starting. Here we go.
He starts attacking Kevin, and he beats the crap out of Kevin, but Kevin was big and roly-poly.
That was a clear groin shot, and the referee doesn't seem to notice.
He's bleeding through his mouth, and here's his big silly Kevin, big awkward Kevin, still coming at him, throwing looping punches.
Now, right here is when I start to realize, okay, something's wrong because I can't catch my breath.
This is going to take a lot of energy because if you can see, it's only been maybe a minute or so into the match, and they're breathing a little bit.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to wheeze. Here I'm starting to wheeze, and I'm thinking, okay, what's going on?
And finally, Zane just kind of runs out of gas, runs out of oxygen, and kind of collapses, and Kevin Rozier stomps him.
Fatigue got him, baby. I think fatigue got to him. He went too hard, too soon, too often.
Zane is bleeding from a cut right above his eye. He's gasping for air. His hands are up trying to fend off Rozier's kicks. It's at this point, Jolie throws in the towel.
I can actually say my wife, Jolie Frazier, she saved my life that day because I'd be dead if she didn't throw in the towel.
And then we're in the hospital room. And
they had to intubate me at the hospital. That was the only way they saved my life. Their ambulance got me in the hospital in the nick of time.
I mean, it was serious.
Kathy Kidd is in charge of fighter safety, and things backstage are getting out of hand.
3 ambulances at the arena in Denver that first night. Had them lined up, ready to go. Didn't know if I would use them all, but I thought three should be enough.
After the first 2 fights, she's already sent 2 people to the hospital with serious injuries.
I truly thought every single fighter is going to need an ambulance.
She calls the ambulance company for backup.
They're telling me, well, it's going to take some time. We'll get them there as soon as we can. And I'm like, no, I don't have any time. We have fights. You've got to get the ambulance here. They're like, well, ma'am, we'll get them there as fast as we can.
Back in the octagon, Royce Gracie is about to make his debut. His opponent is the boxer, Art Jimerson, who confusingly decides to only wear one glove. So, he can grapple with the other hand.
I'm the first one out there, right? I look up, here comes Royce with like a chain of his brothers and coaches, all their hands on back of each other's shoulders, like the Jacksons, right? I'm like, oh man.
I would have to say that Royce certainly looks the most confident of everyone who's come in so far.
Once the fight starts, it becomes the Royce Gracie show. He gives a few tentative kicks, and then he darts in and knocks Jimerson over.
He shot up and came down and got my legs. When he got my legs, he swept me under, and I'm like, wow, So I'm thinking to myself, all right, referee, I'm down on the ground.
Within seconds, he's climbed on top. On TV, it looks like Royce is giving the boxer this tight bear hug. But what's actually happening, he's trying to get his forearm over Jimerson's trachea.
He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to escape. He doesn't know what to do. I'll take him to the ground, and he's totally hopeless. All his boxing training is hopeless.
I think Art is a little bit worried here.
There it is. There he is. And he's on the ground. Now we're watching Royce take the mount position. And that's exactly where the jiu-jitsu man wants to be. He's on top.
I'm on the ground, rolling around with him. I'm thinking, why ain't this referee breaking us up, right? So I tell the referee, can we get broken up? And the referee said, keep fighting. And then Royce headbutted me like 4 times.
He just bowed out. He just tapped out.
Did he? Oh, the towel just got thrown in as well.
That's amazing. It doesn't take much. It is just a frightening experience, Bill, to have somebody up on top of you.
To be able to put pressure on you quickly.
You bet. It happens that quickly.
I don't think Art was hurt at all. I think he was just frustrated. You can't breathe.
The boxer gives up. He never had a chance to throw a punch. But the Gracie family, they're ecstatic. There are more fights. Ken Shamrock, Captain America, he beats the local Denver fighter, Pat Smith. The crowd pelts Ken with garbage because, he beat the local guy. And now we're in the semifinals. 4 people left. Gerard Gordeau, the Dutch fighter, Even with a broken hand, he makes quick work of the heavy kickboxer Kevin Rozier. In the other bracket, Royce is fighting Captain America himself, Ken Shamrock.
I'm walking in there and I'm going to tear him apart. As soon as I looked at him, my eyes looked at him like, I'm going to kill you.
You notice the referee is kind of keeping them far away from each other. I think it's very intelligent.
Premature fighting.
Yes.
Yeah. Very likely event here.
I think this will be a very exciting bout.
There they go. Look at that.
They're going at it. Royce trips up Ken and he gets on top. Ken starts trying to pry himself loose, but he just can't pull himself out.
As I'm trying to push his feet away, I can't get that grip. Now with shoes on, I can get it. So now I end up on the bottom, and this is where he's good at, on top.
Over, and now Royce has him in what appears to be the guard position. Royce takes the mount. That's exactly where Royce wants to be. Now what Royce is probably going to try to do is get his left leg over Ken's.
Royce starts positioning Ken for the chokehold. We see Royce in his white jiu-jitsu gi, flat on top of Ken, who is wriggling underneath, just trying to get loose. Royce wraps his arms around Ken's neck.
My father used to choke all his opponents. That was his favorite move. Because if you break somebody's arm, they can continue fighting. If you choke them out unconscious, fight is over.
So now I end up flat again, and now he's got the gi wrapped around my throat, and he's choking me. He'll reach underneath and grab the sleeve of his gi, and he pulls it across my throat. So instead of an arm where I'm trying to break it, it's a rope going across my neck, and I can't get my fingers on it.
There's the tap. There's the tap. Royce actually had him in a choke from the back, and he tapped. He tapped 4 times. Bill, that was a tap.
I did not see the tap.
I saw it 4 times.
And it's just like the arrogance that I had in this, going into this fight. That's something that I learned from this. I never let that happen again.
I'll be a little more prepared for it next time, Hopefully I'll give him a better fight, I'm sorry that I didn't give him a good enough fight,
Ken says this fight, it stayed with him his entire life. And he maintains if he'd been allowed to wear shoes, the whole thing could have turned out differently.
To think that they had changed and done so many things to try to stack the card when they didn't have to. Just my opinion, they cheated.
Come on, Ken, give me a break. Don't joke about that, man. You're a tough guy no matter what. It just happens that, Royce knew a couple of more tricks than you did. But Royce used a very basic, ABC of jiu-jitsu.
The finals are Royce versus Gerard Gordeau, the Dutch tough guy. When Royce steps into the ring, he looks pretty much unscathed. He hasn't taken a punch. But Gerard, his hand is swelling, he's bleeding from his foot, he looks beat up.
And you cannot make a choice, I stop. We are fighters, we have to win. And I make a trip for 5,000 kilometers to go there and then say stop. No, not in my heart.
The winner walks away with $50,000. And he gets to say he is the toughest fighter in the world. It's an exciting match on paper, but Royce gets him on the ground right away.
He's going to his back. There's that left hand of Royce just underneath Gerard's neck, and
Gerard has his chin down.
These Gracies are anacondas. It's over. That was just incredible. Royce is not letting him go. He wants to make sure the referee sees that this is over. But that is the power of jiu-jitsu in action. Simply incredible. These folks are going wild.
You can see, look at the expression on Royce's face. There's a look now of satisfaction. I did it. And he deserves that moment. They hoist him up. He deserves it. Remember, all before this, he's got everyone watching him to perform. He can't let the family down.
I'm not here for the money. I'm here for the honor of the family, for the name that the family's been putting up for the last 65 years.
Here he is, the ultimate fighting champion, validated in front of his entire family. But in this moment, he's still Royce.
What are you going to do with the money? I'm going to go to Disneyland. You going to Disneyland? There's a promo for him. Okay.
Disneyland is fun because you become a kid again.
A special day for you, a special day for your dad and your whole family. Yes. Congratulations on the $50,000 and being the ultimate fighting champion. With that, let's go to Bill.
Despite the rocky start, the TV broadcast, well, it runs nearly 2 hours. It was long enough. The octagon did not collapse, and nobody